What do you think were the strong points of the video?
So I can go this way, but the strongest points I felt was like the theme of like sort of main character or Angus like seeing numbers all the way through, because it's like he was going insane in the way you could see, but it was a nice like specific way he was going insane.
Yeah.
And, like you could see it from
the
his
consistency of it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I thought that the sound and the effects were very good. The way that you and the way that the camera was held, you know, the shaky camera. I think it kind of emphasised his descent into madness before climaxing into him killing his girlfriend.
Yeah, Todd?
I thought the whole theme of Insanity was really good. I thought like you did it really well with the shaky camera and how it was all distorted all the way through. You didn't really know what was going on, but then again neither did the main actor, so you kind of felt what he was feeling. I thought that was conveyed really well.
That's great. What would you have improved on?
I mean, it was really good, so I don't know if there's much to improve on. I mean, I guess, you know, if it was like a full-length film, I mean, yeah, I mean, it would depend on what context, but I mean, if it was like a full 90 minutes or something, I mean, sort of maybe fleshing it out a bit more.
Yeah, give it a bit more background.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Something similar, that the way that you showed him going insane, seeing all the numbers and things, that was good, but you could have explained more what the numbers meant, like why he was seeing the numbers, why he was seeing the equations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree. I didn't really understand why numbers exactly and what the writing on the wall all meant and everything. I don't know, and sometimes the shots, it seemed like the camera was going off to like the wall and stuff like that. I didn't think that was like in that zoom in where it was zooming in when Steve was laughing. That could have, I thought that was supposed to be on his face.
Yeah, reframe.
Yeah, reframe. Yeah. But other than that, I thought it was really
good. Do you think it met the conventions of the thriller genre?
I mean, it definitely met them, but it also it broke a lot to become its own film. But you know, personally, I believe you know that's necessary if you want to be creative. I mean, it had sort of the tense themes of the main character going through a struggle, and he was really, you know, struggling to cope. Really, he just about lost it when he murdered his friend, girlfriend, whatever, and it's just. I'd say it was just really that, because you could see it happening for yourself completely from how he saw it. Yeah. Which made it really made it very identifiable, I guess.
Yeah. Jack?
He did meet a lot of the conventions of the thriller genre. You had the tension, the build-up before the climax at the end, but I thought it seemed to fall more into a psychological chiller rather than a thriller.
Yeah.
I thought it like developed on the conventions really, because a typical convention would be like he's telling a story to like a psychologist and he's saying how he went insane, but it didn't particularly explain the way it developed. Is it didn't particularly explain why he was going insane, and it developed on from that interview being a main part of the story, like he's being the decider whether he goes to heaven and hell. I thought that was a really good development on the convention.
That's great. Do you think the title was appropriate? And what did you think of it? Purgatory.
Well, I mean, you know, usually, I mean, someone like me, average Joe Punter or whatever, I mean, Purgatory sort of makes me think of like limbo, like in between heaven and hell, like nothing. And the film did convey that very well, because, you know, he gets, at the end of the film, the main character gets the choice to pick whether he's going to heaven or hell, and in a way it casts a very sort of neutral, like new slant on it all, because he's not really evil or good or whatever, he's just sort of misplaced and
just a bit out, disconnected.
Yeah, I mean, it was appropriate just because at the very end you realise how central it was. So yeah, I'd say
Jack?
Yeah, I thought the title of the film worked quite well, because straight from the outset the word purgatory is something that you associate with supernatural and heaven and hell and all that sort of thing. So straight away it suggested something out of the ordinary, something not quite normal. And then it was a good way of explaining I mean, the psychiatrist's office was good because it kind of went a bit into how you're supposed to see your life flashing before your eyes, so it had like a flashback thing. But yeah, the title was good because it represents what the entire film is about.
Yeah, I thought, because Purgatory obviously means a bit in between heaven and hell, so like when you die you go to, like, in this case a psychologist, and he decides based on your life whether you go to heaven and hell, and that's Purgatory. So the whole film is in like,
Yeah.
think is him looking back on his life and deciding on his final moments and like what really bad things he's done, like, oh, he's killed his girlfriend, so maybe, you know, and then weighing those up to see whether he should go to heaven and hell, and that's the whole thing, so that is Purgatory. So
Do you think
that is very relevant.
Purgatory as a title should have been put at the end? Do you think it gave too much away at the beginning, the concept of it being limbo?
No.
No, not really.
Okay, good. Just a couple more.
It's fine, it's fine.
Do you think the actors were believable, and did you like the characters that were there?
They were definitely believable. I mean, sort of Steve's role was only revealed at the end, but I felt like he was possibly, well, not quite the most interesting, but the most mysterious, and
Yeah.
that was, you know, you were drawn to that.
He had the enigma.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't see it coming, but then you don't know what you're expecting,
Yeah.
and especially with him, it's just, you know, he was a great actor, you know, film studies teacher and all, but it's definitely just like a very nice twist in his character, but even then you're left out like asking more questions. And you know, Angus and Rebecca, you know, were also really great actors, because, you know, it conveyed it sort of realistically, sort of, you know, how such like a disorder would happen,
Yeah.
and how, like, for Angus, how he was really just couldn't cope at all, and, you know, he had no idea what it was. And, you know, you, Rebecca, because you just wanted to help him, but, you know, he lashed out against his control.
That's great.
No
Jack?
Yeah, I thought the actors were very good. It was very convincing. The way that Angus was doing, you know, just the little jitters, just small features like the way that his eyes would dart around rather than just focusing on something, showed it was good at portraying the insanity. And Steve as well was good as showing a good and an evil side, and something at the end so simple as just taking your glasses off to show the difference between your good side and the bad side was it was a nice effect.
And Dad?
Yeah, I think they mentioned everything there. I liked how Angus was really fidgety, it just made him seem really uneasy. I liked how Steve, you weren't so sure of him at the start, and then he like had the evil laugh, and that was evil. And yeah, I thought the actors did really well. Not much more I can add to that.
Do you think the soundtrack was fitting, and what would you improve on it?
It was pretty grand, I gotta admit, the soundtrack.
Do you think it was too grand? Bit overstated?
Well, I mean, when Angus is sort of, when he's at home and he's drawn on the wall, I mean, it's nice to have that scale, because it, you know, you start to feel really impressed by it. But I mean, at the same time, you do sort of feel like perhaps it is a little bit too juiced up in a way.
Bit too dramatic.
I mean, it wasn't bad by any means at all. It was just, I mean, you do wonder perhaps, I mean, if something more specific could be like found, but, you know, it still fitted.
Yeah.
It still worked.
What do you think, Jack?
I thought that the soundtrack was good. The way that he used the different music for the different themes that were going on. Like, you had the dramatic music when he was writing on the wall, and you had the tense music, the building music when he was strangling his girlfriend. The only thing that I would improve on is that after he strangles his girlfriend, there isn't really any. It just kind of stops abruptly, and it just. I feel like it should have been, because it seemed to stop halfway through a piece of music, and I don't know if that was on purpose to show his insanity. Everything's
it was sort of done on purpose, but at the same time, we didn't really know what sort of music could fill that moment. And we did quite a bit of research, but it was quite hard to find. What would you suggest?
The idea of going to silence is good, but another way that you could have done it is rather than cut to silence halfway through a piece of music, cut to silence towards the end of a piece of music and just cut the music down in the middle rather than right at the end.
Okay. Todd?
I think that scene where he's writing on the wall, I think, to be honest, that could have done without music. I think is like fidgeting and everything just gave it away anyway. It didn't really do the music. Like Jack said, the music just cut abruptly and that was a bit off-putting. I think if you didn't, personally, I think if you just didn't have any music in that thing, you just had him like heavy panting or something, and then at the bit where he strangles her, and then he goes on the floor, then do that kind of sound. Don't know what it's called. I think that would have worked better, but that's just my opinion. I mean.
Yeah, fair enough. So, did you enjoy the film overall?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was really
okay.
good.
Well, thank you for your feedback.